to you by the Welch Group.
So the big, beautiful bill, now law. When it comes to your tax breaks, this is what you don't want to miss.
48's Jonathan Skinner spoke to financial expert Jay McGowan to break down how itemized deductions could impact your taxes this year.
Now, we've discussed the big, beautiful bill a few different times, of course, and now that it's law, it's even more important, especially with some of the tax breaks that you can get, and also talking a little bit about some of the itemized deductions that you may want to know about as well. That's why we brought back our friend and financial expert, Jay McGowan, to discuss those. Jay, tell us what we need to know about these.
Yeah, so last time we talked about some everyday tax breaks that really impact a lot of people, whether you itemize deductions or not. So this time I wanted to specifically focus on some of the impacts of the big beautiful bill on the itemized deductions. And basically, itemized deduction, you have a standard deduction and you have itemized deductions, and basically whichever one of those is greater, the taxpayer can use to offset their income. So there have been some changes to the itemized deductions that are definitely worth talking about. The biggest one being what they call the SALT deduction, or state and local taxes paid deduction. So in the past and even now, you're able to deduct the like state income taxes, property taxes against your federal income that will then reduce your federal income tax. Now, as a result, since 2017, there's been a $10,000 per year cap on the amount of state and local taxes you can offset federal income with. As a result of the big beautiful bill, that amount has now been increased to $40,000 per year. So for some people that have high state income taxes or high property taxes, this can be a really big benefit on the federal level. Just like we talked about last time, though, again, there is phase outs. So this one's a little bit higher, so it's $500,000 in AGI. And that's for single and married filing joint taxpayers, so there's no distinction there. But once you get over that threshold, the value, that $40,000 starts to diminish.
And so talking also about, your private mortgage insurance, PMI, so how does this affect that as well? Yeah,
so PMI has you've never been able to deduct PMI. So what PMI is it's an extra cost associated with mortgages if you don't have enough equity in the property. Typically, if you don't put like 20% down, you may have to pay private mortgage insurance. And so now people that are in that situation, they can deduct those dollars from their federal income. Again, the phase out, though, $100,000 for married filing joint, it completely phases out at $109,000. So there's a quick phase out. But like I think on this, like a young person who's just starting out, maybe their income's not as high yet, but they've purchased a house and they're paying PMI, this could definitely help them if they itemize. So I don't see that impacting a ton of people, but it definitely could, and it's worth mentioning for sure.
Yeah. And you also talk about charitable gifts as well. Those are sort of impacted by this change in the law. Tell us about those.
There's a lot of things to consider here, but some of the changes to itemized deductions, specifically concerning charitable gifts, next year there is a floor of 0.5% of your AGI. So basically that means if your AGI is $100,000, the first $500 worth of charitable gifts that you give don't count. You have to get above that hurdle, and then whatever you do above and beyond that will go towards your itemized deduction. So there's a little bit of a new floor. That's a new thing.
Gotcha. The word complex, I think, fits for all of this.
Yeah, it is a lot.
You've helped simplify some of it as well, so we appreciate that.
Thank you.
If you have any more questions, make sure to reach out to Jay or anyone else with the Welch Group, or, of course, also watch our show here at 4 p.m. every Tuesday. You can check it out or on the WAFF.com website.